On the back of each of the machines, there should be a quick start guide. So this is a useful tool. In here, it pretty much has all the basics that we're going to go through, and then it also has all of the maintenance things that we did. So there's step by step. So if you forget how to change staples by the time you run out, it's all there. So in this front section here are all of the toners. It's really easy to change them. You just pop them out and then push the new one in, so you don't have to push anything to get it out. But that's what you're going to do to change it. With this one, that's everything for the toners. Okay. Here are the hole punches. So if you get an alert to empty them out, they're in here. And then staples are in here. So with staples, there are two kinds of staples. One, the regular ones, which I refer to as like the corner staples. So those are located right here. You just pull out the cartridge. With this, you're going to keep the green and white part. When it's empty, the clear part just snaps out, and then you can just pop the new cartridge in. Okay, and then you'll just push it back in. So those are the regular. So you can call that. You'll refer to the equipment number, which is on there. And when you, like I said, when you order staples, they will ask, do you want regular staples or do you want the saddle stitch? So saddle stitch are the staples that go in the center of the booklet. If you pull this unit out, this is the unit that creates those booklets, folding them and stapling them in the center. So if you look on the side here, there are two green plastic parts. So these are the staples. You just push it down and then pull it out so they look a little bit different. Okay. So to change these, you're going to push where it says push on each side. The lid will pop up. You can pull out the paper. And then when you put the new set of staples in, you just want to make sure you leave the paper around the staples, otherwise they'll fall everywhere. Okay. And then this, they only fit in one way, so you can't mess it up. But you'll push it in there and then snap it. That's pretty much all of the basic maintenance stuff. So let me show you guys the paper jams. It will alert you where the paper jams are, but I know sometimes it's a little confusing. So start at the top. Anything that has green on it, you can move. If you put an original in and it disappears, it's going to be under here. So if you push the green button, this is going to open up for you. Going around to the side, you're going to squeeze this here, and this piece will come out. And then again, anything green inside here, so there's like a green wheel you can turn to get the paper out. So anything green you can play with. If you can't get a piece of paper by moving something green, we'll have you give us a call on the number here, and we can send a technician out for that. And then this just shuts. Down on the bottom here, this door will open up, and there can be paper there. Moving to the front, if you open the front panel, this piece pulls out, and then again grab the green pieces and they'll open up. And then this just pushes back in and you can close the cover. Okay, so this drawer you're going to open up. It has two feeders. So this right side is where it pulls the paper from. I recommend leaving this side in, so you have to firmly push it to make sure that it's all the way in there. If you don't do that, what will happen is it's going to tell you the paper is empty. So feeding paper in the left side, you want to make sure the paper is pushed all the way against the left side. If this little sensor is being pushed at all, it's going to say empty paper. This you can feed while the machine is going. And then when you're done, you just push the drawer button. You have your set percents. You can manually adjust up or down. You have an original, so whatever size your original document is, you could select here. And then the copy, if you had like a ledger size document you wanted to come out of the machine, you could select that here, and it's going to adjust to fit the page for you. So you can blow something up or shrink it down. You also have photo zoom. So if you select photo zoom, you can select the different, whatever size photo it is, and then you can choose whatever size paper it is, and it will, same thing, blow it up or shrink it down to fit. The finishing tab, so this is where you're going to find stapling, hole punching, all of the fancy things. So for stapling, whatever orientation you're putting your paper in, look at what corner the staple is that you know where you want the staple to go, and then you can choose the option based on the picture. For hole punching, you're just going to select hole punch, and it will do either a 3 or a 2 hole punch depending on the orientation. For binding, this is for when you're creating a booklet at the machine. Magazine sort means you're taking 10 individual pages and you want to put it into booklet format. So if you select magazine sort, it will take those individual pages and put it into booklet format. Magazine sort and centerfold will take the 10 individual pages, put it into booklet format. It will also fold it, and then that's going to come out at the bottom of the machine. Magazine sort will take the 10 pages, put it in booklet format, fold it, and staple it. So difference between the ones that say magazine sort, those are for originals that are individual pages. If you already have something in booklet format, you just want it to copy as is, but you want it folded, you're going to do centerfold. And then if you have already in booklet format, you want it to fold it and staple it as well, you would do saddle stitch. So the two-sided button is where you're going to find single and double siding. So the first number is the amount of sides on the copy, on the original. Second number is the amount of sides on the copy. So if you have a single-sided document that you want to come out as double-sided, you would do 1 to 2. Here are your options to choose for color. I recommend choosing auto color. If you have a 6-page document and 2 of the pages are black and white, this will recognize that and it's going to charge you appropriately. And then the last button, the proof copy button here, if you select that, you'll go in, choose whatever your settings are. So if you have single, double-sided, stapled, you can set those up, hit proof copy, type in however many you want, hit start, and it will spit one out, and then it will, you can check, make sure it's correct, and then it's going to prompt you if you want to continue with the other 49 or go in and make changes. Just need to put ledger size paper in there, close it, you're good to go. Okay? Let's say we want to switch that to legal size. What you're going to do is put the legal size paper in. Most of the machines should recognize the size that you've selected, and it should update it, but this is where you want to confirm it. If it doesn't change that, you need to manually go in and override it. So what this says is in the drawer needs to match what's in the drawer, or what will happen is you're going to get a paper jam, you'll clear it, immediate paper jam, clear it, it's going to be that kind of a thing. So if that ever happens, check and make sure that matches what's in the drawer. So the way to manually override it is to go to this user functions button. You can choose the drawer button here, and then what you'll do is select whichever drawer you're changing. So the top 2 drawers you can put different size papers in. So if we want to select drawer 1, we can choose that, and then you choose the size paper that you're using. So one of the things you want to pay attention to for letter size paper, if you're loading letter size paper and portrait orientation, you're going to choose size. You can just hit OK and it will save it. If you do cardstock or you have something that's a thicker, heavier paperweight, you're going to go to this paper type button here. So from here you can choose thick 1, thick 2, thick 3. So it goes up to 140-pound paperweight. In the manual, I think it's on page 70 most of the time, or 7. It looks like it's different on this one. But I usually just dog ear the page where the different thicknesses are. That way they know. But if you select this, it's going to put an icon on the drawer. So if you ever see an icon on the drawer, it just means that there's something special that's in there. Okay? If you want to remove it, you go through the same steps: user function, push drawer, select the drawer you're switching, push whatever icon it is that you see, and that will remove it for you. Okay? You also have different things like cover, special. Special is good for photo paper. If they have something glossy, you can select that here. But once you've got it set, then you'll just hit OK, and just go back to the main screen and make sure that it made the change. So questions on bypass tray. So when you're using the bypass tray, you're going to stick the paper in. And then on this screen here, this is going to pop up. So from here, where it says copy in the copy section, that's where you're going to select whatever size paper that you've put in. So if we're doing ledger size, you would select ledger. And then if you have a cardstock or something thicker that you've put in the bypass, there's your paper type button. So you're able to select the thickness directly from the screen. Once you have it set up, you'll hit OK. See how bypass is now lit up? So that's telling you the machine's going to pull it from there. Once you have it, if you decide, oh, you know what, I just want to do regular letter paper, you can always go in and select whichever drawer you want it to pull from. Okay? So bypass jobs are good for, you know, something if you're doing a copy that's less than 20, 25 copies and you don't want to go through changing everything in the drawer, you can use the bypass tray. Okay? So as far as the features go, the zoom button here, if you select the zoom button, this looks similar to the bypass tray screen, but you have set percents. You can manually adjust up or down. You can choose whatever your original is, so whatever you're putting in the automatic feeder. If it's letter size, you would select it there. And then copy, if you want it to come out on ledger, you can select there, and it will adjust it for you, so you don't have to play with it to fit the page. The photo zoom button, if you select that here, you can choose the size photo, select the size paper you want it to come out on, and same thing, it's going to blow it up or shrink it down. Okay. So that's all under this zoom button. Under the finishing button, to go through this job status button. So if you push job status, you'll see the job that says printing. You're going to select that, and then you can hit delete. So it will take a little bit longer, but it's going to get all the paper out before it actually stops it. The other thing that you're going to use this job status button for is if you print a job to the bypass tray. Your job will never print. What will happen is it's going to show up here, job status will be flashing orange. So you can select that. It's going to tell you up here, put paper in bypass, and it will tell you what size paper. So you put your paper in there and then you can hit start. So the reason it makes you do that is if I print something on labels and I leave my labels in there and then you come when you want to print something on an envelope, it's pretty much just making sure that the correct paper's in there before it sends the job. If there are multiple bypass jobs, you just look for your username. You're going to select it and then you're going to hit print and it will print it for you. Okay? Here, there are a few different features you can select. So if you choose edit, this one the most popular, there's a timestamp, page number. If you scroll to the second page, you can do omit blank page, which means if you have a contract with a bunch of blank pages, it will pull those out. So when you make the copy, it's not wasting paper. Okay. Under job build, if you select that, that will allow you to put different size papers through the feeder without having to send it, or how to do the job separately. You're able to put like ledger in, and then you could put letter, and it will copy them all as one job. So everything I did here, with the exception of setting the drawers, you just need to do when you're physically at the machine. Under rotation here, this is useful. So a lot of people ask, especially when they're doing checks or something, they'll scan something in and it flips the image. So instead of messing with it on this, the glass or through the auto feeder, you can go to rotation and choose the picture that shows however you're putting the check in whatever way you want it to actually show up on the scan. So it saves you some time there. And then this button here where it says original size, it's set to auto, so whatever you scan in, that's what it's going to scan as far as the document size goes. But let's say that you have legal size or like A4 or weird paper size, and you want to scan it in as a letter size document. You're going to push the original size button, and then you can go in and choose whatever size you want that to scan as. So once you have your settings set, you're going to hit OK, and it will bring you back to the main menu, and then you can choose however you want to send it. So if you're doing USB, here's the USB port. So you can plug your USB port or USB drive into here, and then go back and select USB. From this screen, you can select file name, and it would pop up a keyboard so you can go in and change it to whatever the document is. Once you have it set how you want it to, you're just going to hit OK and then hit scan. So that will send it directly to the USB for you. If you're doing email, you can change any of these fields. So you don't select where you want to type like you would with a phone. With this, you're actually pushing the button that you want to change. Okay? So if we hit the 2 button, it's going to pop up the address book. Here, you can just select someone's name, it will populate their email, and then you can just hit send and it sends it. You can select multiple emails if you want to send it to multiple people. If you have a client or someone who's not in the address book, you're going to use this input at signal. So if you push that, this will allow you to manually put in someone's email address. Putting in someone's email address this way will only send it to them, it's not going to save it. So the way to save it, you would go through this user functions button, so the same one you would change paper with, but you would go to the address button. So under the address button, you would select an empty box, and you're going to hit entry. So that's going to pop up the features where you can put in, name, email, fax number. That's how you would save it into the machine. So for file, depending on how the file is saved, it could be saved under the share drive as just Toshiba scans. Some companies do it as each individual user has their own folder. So when you hit file, if remote 1 is lit up, usually that means that it's just going to go to like a shared folder. If you're able to select remote 1, it will pop up everyone's different name, and then they can select their folder and hit scan, and it will send it directly to that folder for them. So that's everything with the scanning. The print button here, so you're able to print directly from a USB. So if you have a client come in or someone that's not connected to the network, they can just plug that in and you can print directly from it. So you would put your USB in, select print. When there's one in there, you'll see USB listed, so you can select that, and then it will show all of your folders, and you can just navigate through until you get to your document. Once you get to your document, you just hit the OK button, and it will print it for you. It only prints PDF. So if you have a Word or an Excel file, you're not even going to be able to see it on here. Okay. The other thing that this print button can do is you can do a private or a hold job. So what that means is from our computer, I'll show you guys how to select this, but if you select private, what it's going to do is prompt you for a password once you hit print. So it's not your department code, it's just a code that you make up. It's going to send the job to the copier. Nothing prints until you hit print, choose the drop down, select private. You'll see your username, so you select your username, hit OK, and it's going to prompt you for that password. If you forget your password, there's no way to retrieve it, so unfortunately you would have to send another job. And then it only holds it on there for about 12 hours. So if you do something Friday night, you're not going to find it there on Monday. Okay. The hold job is similar, but you don't need a password. So if you send a hold job, what it will do is it will hold the machine or hold the print job up here until you come to the machine and release it. So hold jobs are good for if you're printing on letterhead or pink paper or something that's not, instead of running around the office telling everyone not to print something, you can send it up here and then put the type of paper you're using right before you release the job. It's also good for if you're stuck on a conference call or something. Instead of printing paper, your coworker throws it away because it's been sitting there for so long, this will hold it up here until you're ready to come and get it. And then the last menu button, the fax. So if you select fax, anything that has a telephone has a fax number saved. So again, you can just select the name and it will pop it up, or you can manually just start typing in. This input fax number, it's not working on this one right now, but if you hit the input fax number, it will pop up a little box that gives people the option to have a pause. So if they're doing like international faxing, that's how they can do that. And you can put as many fax numbers as you want. You just hit multi after each fax number that you enter. If you can't remember who you've already put in, you can hit destination and it will list everyone that you've entered so far. So once you have it set, you can just hit send and it's going to send it for you. Okay. The preview button for faxing I think is really useful. So before you hit send, if you select preview, what will happen is it's going to show you all of the pages you've scanned in. So you're able to, if you forgot a cover sheet, it will allow you to insert one. If you want to delete, page 3, you can pull that out. If a page is upside down, it allows you to flip it. So essentially it just allows you to see what the end user is going to receive, and then you just hit OK once you get it looking the way you want it to, and then it will send it directly through to the customer. Okay? So that's